All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's show. You're on live with Matt Milia, Business Insights, episode number 31. And if you want to really blow up your business in any time, you're going to want to stay and watch this all the way through. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. All right. What's going on, Lisa? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am great. And I'm super pumped to have you on. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us. And
here.
Absolutely. Well, Lisa, so tell everybody a little bit, give everyone a little bit backstory about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Okay. So I am a realtor with eXp Realty, and I have a team that consists of my son, my daughter, and I. And I've been in the business for 17 years, started back in 2003, was on a team for a long portion of that time. So I was on a team for about 10 years or so, and then broke off on my own about 6 or 7 years ago. And just have been kind of riding that train ever since.
Nice. And you're from California, I saw too. I didn't know that.
No, I'm not from California, but I lived there for like a year.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So my ex-husband's aunt was in real estate. Actually, she probably still is in real estate. And in Beverly Hills for about 30 years. And she's the whole reason why I wanted to get in the business. She really inspired me. And she, always wanted us to come out and work with her. So we did for a year, but it really just wasn't the right fit for our family. So we ended up coming back, but it was a good experience.
Yeah. I mean, well, and it's a totally different life out there, to say the least. So
yeah.
What was, and I know you weren't there for a real long time. So, I mean, of course, establishing yourself in that market, I mean, is probably a challenge. I mean, were you in Beverly Hills area, or where was it that you were at?
Our office was in Beverly Hills, right on Cannon Drive. And, but they focused, and I joined their team. They focused in Rancho Park, Cheviot Hills, Westwood area. So right there in West LA. So yeah, but I mean, I was knocking on doors. I was dropping off notepads. I was doing everything possible to generate business, even though they had business. So
it's awesome. And that was in a definite downward market. That was what, 2010?
So it was tough. I mean, I did sell a good handful of houses, but nothing, it was rough.
Well, and out there, though, a handful of houses, I mean, you sell 6 or 7 houses, and it's like some of the agents here that are selling 30 and 40 homes because, average sales prices through the roof. So
I know. I sold like 6 or 8 million, but it was only like 5 or 6 houses.
Right, but it's a totally different world, to say the least. Well,
totally. Just more zeros.
Yes, that's for sure. But of course, cost of living, everything else goes up with that too. So that's for sure. So with where you're at now currently, I know that in a lot of cases, most people are looking at this market as we're in a downward trend and, doom and gloom. And again, I think it's really what you focus on is what you focus on expands. It becomes your reality. And you have actually, and you just shared with me how great you guys are doing and what you have coming on the market. I guess really tell everybody a little bit about what it is that you're doing to really leverage and put yourself out there in a market that people say is down.
Right. So, I mean, I obviously would never wish this whole coronavirus on our world. I have, however, been wishing for a turn in the market because
Sure.
I've already been through the one in '07, '08, '09, all of that. And I just know the market share that you can take during that time and the opportunity that's there when a lot of people who are just kind of like riding that easy wave, all of a sudden they have to start working for their business, and that's not what they got into the business for. So I immediately, when things started to shift, I started getting like excited about the real estate aspect of things. And John Kitchens, and so he's my coach, and we were talking, and I've been wanting to really get into a rhythm with video and things like that, and just trying to figure out exactly how. And so he said, what can you do to help small businesses? What can you do to help these people who are struggling right now? And he's like, what about, just doing, lives with different business owners? And at first I was like, that's a great idea. And then I got scared because lives have always scared the crap out of me. And then I was on, it totally scared the crap out of me. But then I was a guest on a live, and it was so much fun. Like, I was nervous before, but I did it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like adrenaline, the only adrenaline I'm going to get right now. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. So I've been doing Cleveland Business Lives, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that's the name of my little show. And then every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I've got a new business owner on, and we just talk business and, just their story, how they're pivoting, things we can do to help them grow and everything like that. So that's been like a ton of fun for me.
I love that. And it's, I mean, really the wealth of knowledge is in these other individuals that are in different businesses. And I mean, I've learned so much from individuals in different business sectors, different outside of real estate, outside of mortgage. I mean, literally it's all these people having that community and that network. It makes a huge difference. And I know when we were talking before, the one thing you had said, I said, hey, let's talk a little bit about video and how video has helped you propel and grow. And you said something interesting about it was the long game. What's the thought process behind the long game in video? What are your thoughts?
It's just it's a pillar in building your brand, So I like back in the fall, John and I started working on focusing on building the brand alongside of producing, sales. So I really started being more consistent with it back in the fall, and it's just he helped me see like, look, you're not going to see the results like you are with prospecting, where you're going to set an appointment, that day and list a house that week. It's the long game. So every time, you make a post, you do a video, you're planting a seed, you're getting in front of people, you're making deposits and things like that. So like, I don't know exactly how it's, I get a lot of feedback from the videos, and people like are enjoying them and things like that. But I just, it's hard to say like how much business I've gotten because of it.
Right. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually have been starting to quantify where our business has come from with video, because we started it was late September of last year. And I probably didn't really start to see the escalation in people coming to me and saying, oh, I see you everywhere, or until we got to probably February, March. So, I mean, I'm thinking like a 6-month period of time of just consistency, putting it out there. And it's funny because I mean, literally, as soon as I reached out to you to jump on our show, I started all of a sudden seeing everything for yours. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're doing it almost like every couple days. So
yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. And what you realize is that I think the biggest challenge is just finding that person that you want to interview that's going to be able to bring bring some value. And the being on the video is easy, but pro tip, being on there with another person, way easier, because if you're doing it all by yourself, you really don't have that whole dialect, and then you look like you're crazy because you're talking to yourself. But
right. Or you feel like you're crazy, or you're like, does this make sense? Does anybody even
right. Yes, you feel like you're crazy. Yes, because that's usually how when I'm sitting there doing my own video, I'm like, is anyone watching this? What should I say? What should I do? So
right.
I think we all get there, and it gets to a point where you just have to really take it all in and just know what you're going to talk about, have a little bit of an idea. For you, I mean, that's the one thing a lot of people tell us when we were coaching. You know, they say, "Well, I don't really know what to talk about. I don't know what to say." How could you relate that to the real estate industry? What do you think would be some good video topics that someone could talk about to, you know, help them get their name out there?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I actually just downloaded, GoGo has 101 video topics that I just downloaded of hers. I haven't looked at them yet. But I mean, I don't think there's any shortage. You could just pick apart any, I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. Are you talking to agents? Or are you talking to buyers and sellers? But it could be, you know, how to get your home ready for the market, how to get your home picture ready, what to expect, you know, when your home's on the market, negotiating tips, how to get, you know, the most you could possibly get for your home. There's like so many. I don't know, and on and on.
I love it. She's going to be on in a couple weeks too. So, yeah. So, well, because I figured, you know, now is the time, especially you have so many people that are still viewing, and I know we're starting to open up more, but of course there's way more viewers, and everyone who was shooting videos during the downward time, these are the people that are the go-to figures. They are the people that everyone is attracting towards. So with your show that you're doing now, what is the framework of that like? Do you just bring people in and interview them on their business, or what do you guys go through?
Yeah. So, I mean, I sent out a whole list of questions that I want to cover, you know, when they're on. And then I just tell them the process and everything like that. They log on about 15 minutes before, and we just kind of do a little session. I usually do about 30 minutes of kind of like stalking their websites and their, you know, Facebook pages and things, like finding things that are interesting to me. And then I'll ask them any questions that I have before we go on live at 1:00. And then I just introduce, I mean, the part of the reason why I love it is because it's not about me at all. So it makes it so easy. So I just literally introduce myself real quick, introduce the person, how I know them, or, you know, maybe an experience I've had with them. And then I just let them tell their story. And then I just hit the points that I know that they want to hit. You know, we talk about any maybe promotions that they might be having, if they share the post or certain things like that. And I just like to keep it like 10 or 15 minutes, mostly because LinkedIn and, you know, IGTV, I do postings on those too. And you can only max out at 10 to 15 for those. So I just like to keep it short and sweet. So before you know it, and at the end of the show, I do like just fun rapid fire questions, you know, like one word to describe COVID, or if you could quarantine with any famous person, who would it be? That's my favorite one.
That's a good question. Yeah.
I've asked some guys that, and I'm like, I know if they weren't on alive, their answer would not have been Jesus.
Right.
But
I love it.
It's funny. So then I just, and that's that. And then that's really the format, but it's fun. So
when we were talking about videos and quantifying, I never finished that thought process, because I was thinking about that. I've noticed as well because you said LinkedIn and you were talking about the limitations and Instagram. And what I've noticed is that when I'm posting these videos, I mean, of course, I have a content team, so that helps so much. Having people that can help you with the editing, having people that can show you, and your most recent videos are awesome. So great job there. I saw the intro.
Stephanie gave me a long tutorial. I owe her dinner, and then this COVID thing hit, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome though. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, Stephanie is amazing at that. So
I love her.
Yes, she's been putting everything out on LinkedIn and Instagram, and really a lot of the things that we've learned from it. It's funny because LinkedIn was just a ground for, I wasn't getting a whole lot of messages, and it's funny because people are like, oh yeah, I get messages and people recruit me. I'm like, oh well, I never get that. Now all of a sudden it's like my feed is constant. I have 3-4 messages a day from people like, hey, you know, I saw we're in similar business. I'd like to mastermind with you. And I've had conversations with them, and it's actually gotten me into other businesses.
That's awesome.
Getting into new opportunities, because I think the most important thing about this whole pandemic and what I've learned from it is being open-minded about your growth, being open-minded about your trajectory, knowing that you have a destination, you have a path that you want to get to, but it may not, the best kept plans out there. It doesn't
right. Like you know where you want to go, but you don't necessarily know how you're going to get there.
Right. So I mean, as long as the end destination is the same,
right, or better.
Or better. That's very true. Or better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
that's a really good point, because like I'll get messages on Instagram and I'm like, usually it's when I just accept somebody. So I think it's like spam. So honestly, I haven't really been reading a lot of those, but I'm going to start.
You know what though? It's okay. I used to think the same thing, and I would get really upset. I get so upset when I'd be like, why is this like, I don't know you, like a good autoresponder, because you get in that defensive mindset. You're like, leave me alone. Like, I don't know who you are. But I mean, again, it's social media. The goal is for us all to, right. The goal is to connect. So,
yes.
But again, I used to be the exact same way because, and it was funny because I got a couple people on the phone and I'm like, oh my goodness, like if I didn't have that call, I mean, literally it's helped us grow other legs of our business.
Wow.
And when you and I were talking before, you were talking about how you're growing some of the legs of your business. If you're, of course, and I believe your son, he does, you guys both prospect or he does it as, okay, cool. Yep. So what, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what that's been like for you, because it's probably open, there's a lot of opportunities right now because most people aren't calling on homes that came off the market. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're still getting calls. I don't think they're getting as many calls because I think a lot of agents are like, I don't want to bother these people. I don't know, I don't know what they're thinking, but, so there's a lot of withdrawals and expireds because a lot of people took their houses off the market when this all hit. We have 9 listings coming on the market this week. 9 this week. It's crazy. Wow. And I would say at least 7 of them, I think 7, maybe 8 are from expireds and FSBOs.
Wow.
One is a referral. And our expires actually dried up. And so what Nick started doing is like the grunt work of going months back and scrubbing old expires. And those have proved to be really lucrative. So that's what we're listing a lot of right now is expires that went up the market maybe last, December, October, then he's going back into last summer. These are people who have like rented out their homes. Maybe their house didn't sell in last summer, so then they rented it out. Now it's coming up on that lease and they're thinking about selling again. So we're getting a lot of those people to build our pipeline with that. But just, a lot of people who took their house off the market for the holidays, going back and re-scrubbing those. He literally checks, did they resell, scrubs the numbers, all of that. So he gets really mad when I call them before he calls them after he spends hours scrubbing them. But I'm like, move it. They've been sitting here for 3 days.
Right.
Yeah. You snooze, you lose.
That's so true. And working with, so is your daughter also getting into real estate or?
Awesome. She's done with her classes. She's about to take her test to get her license, but she's our closing coordinator and listing coordinator. So she's going to start dipping her toe in the buyer agent pool and just seeing how she feels about it. But right now she's our back end. She's our glue right now.
Okay. Well, and in a lot of cases, as far as where you've started, where you've come from, where you're heading, having that whole family dynamic. I mean, what is the goal for growth for your team? Are you trying to keep it just the 3, maybe 1 or 2 more people, or is the goal to, make a team? What are your thoughts?
It's hard to say because at one point I did have a team of 5 agents and 2 full-time admin, and it was just like, I don't know if it was too much too soon for me, and I didn't have a good rhythm down myself it was draining for me. So we paired back and we got lean and mean. And I definitely think we are going to want to bring in another admin person because Bella's not going to be able to handle everything because we literally are just getting revved up, and COVID came along and was like trying to put the brakes on us. So now we're feeling it kind of like lift a little bit. So we definitely, Bella's going to need help. And then definitely a buyer's agent because Nick is doing listings now too. He's working with pretty much all of our buyers and listing. And he really just wants to focus on listing. So he's going to eventually not be able to have the time for buyers. So definitely a buyer's agent, definitely another admin. I want to stay as lean as possible. I think like less is more. I would just rather have a few really productive, high-minded people than just a bunch of noise.
I love that. I love that. And Jackie Bowman. Hey, Jackie.
What's up? Well, I miss you.
It's been crazy because, this whole, really, I mean, our business was definitely, it was affected just like everyone else's, but it's also given me the opportunity to branch off into other industries. And I mean, we're doing a lot of things right now. Like just gotten into solar, we've gotten into the chiropractic industry, which I never thought, I would have never been as open-minded. And even insurance, we've been doing a lot with insurance. So
you're talking about for generating leads for people?
Lead generation, calling their leads, because the thing is everyone has the same bottlenecks. And it's funny because we always are like, oh, we're special. It's only our industry. But no, it's every industry. Right. Because in the way that lead generation, conversion, the way that our generating our business has changed so dramatically, it's really been a huge impact across all industries. And I've watched some industries actually really take off from this. And one of the things for us is it's just opened us up to other opportunities, finding things that allow us to utilize all the talents and skills that we have to set appointments and do it elsewhere. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm not thankful for the quarantine wait. That is the one thing that's been, It's tough to stay out of the fridge. I don't know what it is, but it's like.
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like I dropped 20 pounds.
I gained like 15 almost. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, wow, like how'd you do
15 of my pounds.
Well, and we had this awesome routine with the gym going every day. And then it's like you're at home and they're like, oh man, like I can't go. So I'm excited. I think it actually opens up in 5 days, 6, 7 days. Okay, yeah, it opens up next week. So yeah, I'm excited to finally get back out there. But the biggest thing,
your face looks good. If it's 15 pounds fuller, it looks good.
well, thank you. Yeah, it's funny because I told Stephanie, I said like, I'm like, oh man, I got to make sure because like these shirts, have to fit a certain way, but you can only see up to here. So
I know. It's so funny. I was ironing something for last week's live and I was like, oh, I only have to iron the top part of the shirt and the shoulders. I was like, okay, it's taking 60 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're both a part of an amazing real estate company. Generally, I don't bring up the real estate side of things, but I mean, well, as far as the company goes, just because I don't want to push one way or another, but I do want to talk about a little bit about your experience with EXP, because now you've been, is it 2 years, year and a half? How long you been with EXP?
About a year and a half.
And what were you before? Was it KW?
I was Keller Williams before, yeah. And I was also with Howard Hanna as well for like 10 years. Wow. And then Keller for 4 or something like that. Yeah.
So what have you, because of course with us we're all cloud-based, which is awesome. And it has helped a lot with this going on. I mean, do you feel like being a part of EXP has been more helpful now, more than before? Is it about the same?
Yes, like we didn't skip a beat when it comes to virtual. I mean, we were like, yeah, this is what we do anyways. So we did, so many people had to do some adjusting, and just figure out what their new normal was, but this is our normal. One thing I found really interesting was I was on a live with a team leader from Keller Williams, and she was like, my team actually said how they feel closer to each other now than they did before with these Zoom calls that we're doing and things like that. And they actually feel the synergy even more so. And I'm like, that's exactly what I've been trying to scream to people for like a year and a half, is that you have no idea how connected you are with these people, with the people in our company, in our area and in other states. And it's so cool. It's so cool. And so I think now people are going to be able to see that more, like, okay, you don't need that office space to feel that synergy,
So true. And you save a lot of money that way too, because office spaces are not cheap.
I know, I've been there too. I have been there too. So
I remember we were paying thousands when we were in Westlake every month. I'm like, yeah, this is not
totally.
not where I want to be.
I know.
I mean, I love being able to see the people, but I mean, yeah, and then of course a lot of times what ends up happening, I end up getting more done when I work from the house. I mean,
my gosh.
I'm more productive.
It's undeniable.
The biggest thing though is I have like no rhythm to my sleep, so that's the only down. Because like you'd be up late at night, like, oh, I got energy, I'll work through some stuff. Then 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning,
I'm like, okay, it's 7 o'clock. Bye, phone.
Right.
I'll see you
and
in
that's
the morning.
setting some good. I love that, setting some good boundaries, and that's the way to do it. Well, Lisa, you gave a ton of value. I really appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you. I love seeing you again.
Yeah, you as well. And once all this stuff is over and done with, I mean, yeah, we'll definitely all have to get together. We just started going out we went out to like the first bar a couple of days ago. So I was like, you know what? It's outside patio. There's plenty of social distancing.
Right. So, I'm not worried about it. I know. I haven't been yet, so I'm still.
Well, I'm pretty sure, and I mean, Stephanie and I both had the same. We came back from California, and we were there late November, and I was super sick after I got back, and almost. I didn't have the fever. But I had everything else, and like the coughing, like where you literally was like a dry cough. You could not get rid of it, and it was 2 weeks, but I survived, made it through. What? So I mean, I think a lot of it is. I think they don't know when it got here or when it's going or where it is, but the good thing is
I'm not worried. I'm actually not worried about it. I'm not worried about going out. Like my thing is, I just am trying to like not drink for a little while longer, lose a couple more pounds.
Hey, I mean, you got that is a definite good thing from it.
I would love to have you on my show.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, good.
I'm all for it. Well, so for everybody that's watching, if you want to get a hold of Lisa, if you got a house to sell in the, I mean, you pretty much handle most of Northeast Ohio. I've seen your signs all over. So if you guys are looking for an amazing agent, Lisa is phenomenal. So, and that's an agent to an agent. So there you go. Yes. So guys, in all seriousness though, Lisa her team is great. And the fact that you're going lean and mean, I 100% see that being a huge opportunity. Automation and just building a good group of people around your goals. Everyone has the same vision.
Yeah, exactly.
And, go together.
Makes it fun.
Love it. I love it. Well, Lisa, thank you so much again. And for everyone tuning in, see you same time, same place next week.